Now let's understand something called semantic versioning. So we already saw that when we install some package, then we get three numbers separated by something like two dots. So for example, when we installed serve, then we got 13.0.2. Now leave this caret for now. We will just focus on these numbers. We'll come back to that. What is that caret? But what is this 13.0.2? So what happens is that it is something like this, that something dot something dot something. The first part is called major version, the middle part is called minor version, and the last part is called patch version. Now what is this major, minor and patch? What happens that when you do some major release, then you, let's say first time you did you started with your product release, then you started with 1.0.0, right? When you do some major release, then you convert that to 2.0.0. That is a major release, right? Minor release means it is one only, but I will do it 1 to 1.1, 1.1 to 1.2, 1.2 to 1.3. Those are minor releases. And the patch releases or bug fixes releases are actually called patch releases, which are like the last one, which means that if you already have 1.1.0, if you release 1.1.1, then that is a patch release. If you release 1.1.2, then that is a patch release, right? And this major, minor have a bit of definition also. So for example, the definition is in terms of compatibility, which means that let's say there is some API, and that API exposes some functions, and you can import and use those functions. So for example, you understand that in let's say we already saw that in fetch API we had something like this, right? That in await fetch we used to get response, and then in response we used to do await response dot JSON, right? So let's say this JSON method is already available, right? Now you are using this, and some version, some software version is there. So let's consider the node fetch only, right? So the node fetch, which is like a simulation of almost same the fetch API, which is implemented in the browser. Now node fetch you have installed, right? And node fetch, what you can see that, yeah, this sort of node fetch will be available, and the current is, let's say, 3.2.6 whatever. So 3.2.6, this is the thing, right? Now let's say it was released with, let's say 1.0.0. I'm not sure, but just I'm saying, okay. See, what is the meaning? Is that, let's say its API, whenever you got response, then their response.json was available in 1.0.0. Now what is the meaning of this backward compatible and forward and non-backward compatible? So basically what is happening is that, let's say this thing is there, right? Now some response.json, everything is same, all the APIs are same, but you found some bug in response.json. In some cases it is not working, there is no API changes, but some fixes you have to do because you found some bug. Then you will just release a bug fix 1.10.1. So these are bug fixes. Again you found some more issue, but you fixed it, so you release a new version and release the package as 1.0.2. so these are bug fixes, right? But let's say now you are adding some feature, but that adding of that feature is backward compatible. What is backward compatible? Which means that somebody who is using this code, their code will keep on working fine, but you have added new functionality, right? So for example, let's say you have also added now support for, let's say, text, so response.text, okay. But somebody who is not you somebody and then you release it, so when you increase it like 1.0, 1.2, 1.3, 1.7, 0.7, 1.0.8, but when you increment and you are just increasing the patch, when you increase the minor version, then you reset the patch version, which means that after this, if you increase this, then it becomes 1.1.0. okay, so if you increase this, then this resets to 0. So this is, now what is the purpose of this minor release? That some backward compatible release, which means that yeah, I have added a new feature, but it does not break the existing functionality. Anybody who is using this will keep on using this, but those who upgrade can use the new functionality as well. So that is the purpose of minor upgrade. And there is something called major upgrade. And again, let's say the minor upgrade 1.1 point this thing can keep on getting bug fixes. So 1.1.1, 1.1.2 keeps on, like 1.1.5, 1.1.6, whatever, it keeps on getting bug fixes. But later, let's say you do a major release. When you do a major release, that can be a non-backward compatible change also. Okay, non-backward compatible change also, which means that maybe I don't like this .json. I want to make this .json X. So this is like my new API. Now somebody who is using response.json, this his or her code will break, right? Now that is called something like non-backward compatible change. And if you do something like that, then you need to do a major upgrade. And that might not be just API changes directly in the name, right? Might be that you are changing the arguments, right? But those arguments are changing in such a way that it is backward incompatible. You understand? So earlier, let's say 3 arguments were there. Now you are changing it to 2 arguments with some additional settings. So all those things, right? So those are also backward, non-backward compatible changes. But then when you do something like that, then you do a change in major. So this is the major part, right? The first one is the this thing is major, right? So I'm trying to change this. When you change again to this, then everything else sets to 0. Okay, so you can see this. So node fetch, we just now searched, right? If you go and in the top right, you will see versions, right? If you click on this, then you will see all the versions which are released, right? And now you see what I was saying is that when I'm releasing something like, let's say 2.6.2, and then you can release 2.6.3 or 2.6.4. So let's say you are in the process of 2.6.3, but you saw that, yeah, like I need to fix more things, and directly you are releasing 2.6.4. That is fine. You cannot decrease it, but you can jump a few versions. That is fine. So 2.6.2, then 2.6.4, 5, 6, and you see that when now they are also, they released 2.6.7, and parallelly they also released let's say 3.1. So this is like a new version. So they released a patched version of the 2.2.6.6. This is the patched version, and a new major upgrade 3.1.0, right? They could have started from 3.0.0 also, but that is fine, right? At least it is a major upgrade. Okay, but actually they are not upgrading this from 3.0. Actually they already released 3.0.0 earlier. So they are like parallelly maintaining 2 and 2 versions. So so you can see some other libraries, like let's say there is a library called Lodash. Okay, and you can see that yeah, so you can see that see their versions are like um, yeah, so you see 14.0, 14 to 4.14.1, 4.14.2, and then they increase the minor, right? So 4.15.0, and then they didn't do any bug fixes directly. They again increased 14.16.0, again a minor release, and then some bug fixes in 4.16 4.16. So 4.16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you see, and then again another minor release. Okay, and some earlier places you can see that, yeah, so 3. 10.1 was there, 3.9, 3.10, and then they did a major release. So it is now 4.0.0, and then bug fixes in 4.0, and then 4. So you understand that this is how the versioning is working. Semantic versioning is actually a lot more complex than that. Like there are some other flags or something, but we'll not go into that. We'll try to understand, have a basic idea that how the various packages are upgraded. So what is the meaning of major, what is the meaning of minor, and what is the how we generally use it. Okay, now whatever I said, that is actually a convention, right? So semantic versioning is fine, but and npm uses that, but it's a convention. What if as a developer I don't follow this? What if I had 1.8 and in that JSON was there, and I released 1.9 and I changed JSON.json in such a way that anybody who is currently using their code will break. But I have not, I should have done 2.0 release, right? But let's say as a developer, I have not followed this good practice and I have released just 1.9, which means that whatever versioning I am saying, it's a good practice to follow, and most of the popular packages will follow it in the open source world, but you can't rely on it, since it's ultimately the wish of the package developer. Like nobody else can actually decipher that what is going to happen when some developer publishes a package like this or that. Okay, so because of this only we can't rely on this thing, and that's why we generally publish packages. We generally, it becomes a responsibility as a developer, our responsibility as a developer, that how do we pin the packages, how do we control that what can be updated, what can be not be updated. Everybody else can do whatever they want, and it is our responsibility to protect our application against unintentional upgrades. So for example, let's say we are having 13.0.2, fine. Uh, if some 13.0.3 comes, or let's say 13.0 let's say 1 is there, right, then if some 13.0.2 comes, then I want that or not. I want that or I don't want that. Right. That is the thing which you want. Right. And that should be in your control. So what happens is that is where this caret thing comes in. What it does is that it says that what is allowed and what is not allowed. So if you don't use anything, so let's say I don't use caret, I just use exact 13.0.1, right? Then actually nothing will happen. Whenever 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 uh, uh, so there are a couple of files. Let me show you. So there is something called package lock, right? Package lock. So we'll come back to it in a moment, but for now you understand that package lock actually locks the dependencies. So whatever you are writing here, right, caret, and there is something called tilde sign here also. So you can write, you can nothing write, that is one thing. You can write caret, that is one thing. You can write tilde in front, that is third thing. So all these things you can do. What is its meaning, we will come back to it one by one, but I'm saying that all these things which you are doing, and again this serve has some dependencies, right? And how those dependencies and all the dependencies there is a lock file created. So internally it has some purpose, so that when you install something and when you upgrade it, and when you move to some other system, then your packages should be as it is, rather than unintentional package upgrade. So that's why it locks the packages, and that's why this file is there. But whenever you don't want to do a fresh installation, right, then you remove this folder. So let's remove this node modules folder. So I removed it, and you can better remove this also. So remove this also, right? Now you can see that I have removed my node modules folder, I have removed my package lock. Right now simply package.json is there. When I do npm install, then both of them will be created. The npm install, the you can see that node modules folder is created. Package log dot json is also created, right? Okay, fine. Now you can see that once package lock is there, then all these information where we have written, they are actually, those information is are captured there. So now if you do npm ls serve, right, so npm ls serve, okay, npm ls serve, then you see that you see that 13.0.1 is there. So you see that a further version is there, 13.0.2 is there, but it did not install it, right, because I did not say to upgrade it, right. If I use something like this caret, okay, what it means is that you are allowed to upgrade to anything, but not the leftmost non-zero element, okay. So why I'm not saying major, because I'll come back to it, but what is the leftmost non-zero? It is 13, right. So you're not allowed to upgrade 13. Apart from that, you can upgrade this to anything, upgrade this to anything, like whatever is the latest one available, that is fine, right. But you're not allowed to upgrade this thing, okay. So that is the meaning of caret, okay. Now let's remove let's remove node modules, and I'll just use the same command to remove package log json also, okay. Now after that, do npm install again, okay, and then do npm ls of serve. Now you see that 13.0.2, so it, which basically I wrote 13.0.1, but it went ahead and installed 13.0.2, which is actually the latest one. If you see what was the thing which we were seeing, so we were seeing the package serve, right. So if you go and see the package serve, right, then it is going to have 140 versions, and you see that 13.0.2 is the latest one. And that's why even if I wrote 13.0.1, I gave it the permission by caret that it can go ahead and install the latest version, and that's why it has installed the latest version, right. Let's see this package, Lodash, right. We are not using it, but let's learn in the sense of this semantic versioning, right. So let's say 4.2.0 is there, and then a lot of more versions have come, right. A lot of more versions have come, right. So let's say that 4 points here, what 4.17.21 is there, right. Now let's say I write something like let's say 14.4.16.0. I install firstly, let's install Lodash directly, and you will see that, sorry, install Lodash directly, and that will install something, right. So obviously now if you see npm ls Lodash, then you will get obviously whatever is installed right now. But let's say I change it to 4.16.0, right, and I have not used any symbol caret or tilde, right. Then what is happening is that 4.16.0 exact version will be installed. So let's remove and let's install, right. And now if I do npm ls Lodash, then you'll see that 4.16.0 exact thing has come, right. Now let's write a caret. Now see what happens. So let's remove node modules folder, let's install again. In fact, most of the times you don't need to remove every time. You simply change this and do npm install. That will also work, but sometimes it does not work. So that's why I'm doing this cleanup every time for demonstration purposes. If you do npm install and now you do npm ls Lodash, okay, then then you see that 4.17.21 is there. So you see what has happened. it is allowed to do everything. So 16 it is making 17, that is fine, and obviously it is upgrading all the even patch versions, that is fine. But 4 it is not changing. Now you might think that yeah, there is nothing after 4, so what it will do, but that is not the case. If you want, you can do something like let's say 3.8.0, right? And to show you, I'll write it 3.8.0, right? And again, let's remove it, let's install, right? And then do a ls of lodash. You see that 3.10.1 has come, which means that 3.8.0 is there. Now you see that 3 it is not going to touch. That is the meaning of tilde. Leftmost non-zero thing is this 3. 3 it cannot change, rest other things it can change. Okay, so 8 it can make 9, 10, and patch versions all it can change. So you can see that 3.8 it is making 9, 10, 3.10.1, 3.10.1. It went till here, but it cannot go to 4.0.0, right? And that's why you can see that the final version is this only. So that is the meaning of this caret, right? However, if I do something like tilde, right, then from 3.8.0, you can see 3.8.0 it will only go till and 3.8.0 has no further patches, right? So let's do 3.9. Let's do 3.9. Okay, so if I do 3.9.0, then 3.9 both it cannot change. It can tilde things can just change the patches. Okay, so this 9 it can improve it to 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, but it cannot go till 3.10. That is the meaning, right? Let's see that. So let's remove node modules and then let's install again. And now you see ls, what is the current version? 3.9.3. means it is not going till 3.10. 3.9 whatever is the best, whatever is the most bug fixed version, right? All the most patched version that it is taking. So 3.9.0 it is taking 3.9.1, 9.2, 9.3, but it is not going upgrading to 3.10.0. that is the meaning of this tilde thing. So now you understood, right? But most of the things, this should be fine for most of the cases. I'll give you one another example. When I'm saying so in this case you understand that caret is what and tilde is what, right? So caret is basically increasing, tilde was just increasing. So actually tilde allows this thing allows patch level changes. This patch level changes if a minor version is specified. If a minor version is specified, right? Otherwise allows minor level changes. Now that is slightly deeper meaning of it, which means that if let's say this is not there, simply 3.9 tilde is written. Actually you should never write something like this, right? But then let's see. Okay, so you see that here the patch. So basically, 3.9. It is checking at. It is npm is using that as 3.9.0, and that's why it has just changed to. But technically, if you go and read, so this semantic versioning is not related to npm, right? Semantic versioning is a general concept, which means, but there the concept is that if the minor version is specified, right, then a patch level changes is there. Otherwise, if minor version is not specified, right, then minor level changes can also be done. But actually we will not go there, because in npm world always we will use all the three things, like major, minor, patch, all the three things will be there. However, there can be a scenario where the major version is not released yet. So let's say you never released 1.0.0. Let's say you started with 0.1, then you went to 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, or whatever. You kept on moving, but you till now you never released 1.0.0. Then right now your major version is like not 1, right? Major version is like 0. So in that case, the behavior of tilde changes, and that behavior is becomes almost similar to the behavior of the behavior of behavior of caret changes, and that behavior becomes almost similar to behavior of tilde. Why? Because you remember that I never said that in case of caret it fixes. In case of caret, I never said that in case of caret it fixes the major. I said that in case of caret, it fixes the leftmost non-zero. If you see, if you have something like this, then leftmost non-zero is actually the minor thing, not the major thing, right? So if you do something like 0.9, you fix this thing, and you put a even if you are putting a caret, right? Then also, then it fixes 0.9, does not fix 0. So which means that it cannot upgrade it to 0.10. Understand? Even if it is caret, it is only able to upgrade patches 0.9.2, 9.3, 9.4, right? Why? Because the leftmost, the basic definition is that the caret allows changes that do not modify the leftmost non-zero element in the major dot minor dot patch. In fact, if you have 0.0.2 like this, then what is the leftmost? What is the leftmost? The leftmost non-zero is this thing, right? So it will not allow you to upgrade this thing. Okay, it will not allow you to upgrade this. If you use tilde, then you can change it to 0.0.3, that is fine. But if you use caret, then it will be almost like this thing will be equivalent to exact this thing, because I am saying that whenever left, whatever is the leftmost non-zero thing is there, that it fixes. So here it will fix 0.0.2, which means that nothing can change. But if something like 0.3.2 is there, right, then 0.3.3, 0.3.4, these things are allowed, right? Why? Because the leftmost non-zero is 0.3. Again, if 1.3.4 is there, then this thing is also allowed change. This 1.3, 1.4.0, 1.5.0, 1.5.1, everything is fine, right? Because the fixed thing is this one. Now let's test this out. We already saw that in case of Lodash, we saw that, yeah, if we are doing 3.8 or something, then it was just going till 3.10. It was not going to till this, right, 4. But if you used 4 point anything, then it went all the way till 4.17 point whatever the latest version is there, right? And we saw also in the case of tilde, that thing was happening, that only the patches were changing, right? Let's see a package where there is something like 0, this sort of behavior is there. Okay, so so there is a package called Axios, and you see that it is released right now in 0.27.2. So Axios is like sort of a earlier, when fetch API was not there, then for doing HTTP request, this was like the most popular. In fact, right now it is very much popular, you can see. But right now what happens that it fetch API is like browser native supported, so people are moving away from Axios to fetch. But right now also many projects use Axios. But you see it's versioning, and you see all the versions. 0.27.2, okay, 0.26. So now there is no major version. So what happens, let's try those things out. So if I do, let's say 0.25 must be there, right? Yeah, so 25 is the 26. Let's see 26 because it has patch version also. So 0.26.0, right? But I'm not talking about Lodash, I'm talking about Axios. So firstly, let's install Axios. So yeah, so right now if I check npm ls Axios, then whatever is installed, that is fine, right? But I don't want to install this, I want to install this thing, right? Okay, first thing, can I directly install this? So let me show you. Let me firstly remove the node modules. okay, and then do npm ls axios. Okay, and then we will see that it is 0.26.0. This is exact, match, right? This is exact match. However, let's try to remove this altogether. Let's try to, and directly, so right now you see that there is like this is exact 0.26.0, right? Now let's remove everything and install Axios from fresh, but this time I want to install exact not latest version. So you could very well write @latest, but that is not needed because by default it will install latest in most of the cases. Again, there are some caveats of it, how it is published, but npm install Axios 0. If I do something like this, then 0.26 will be installed. But you see that it is installed, but it is installed with a caret, which means that actually what is installed, you see, then you will see that this 0.26, okay, fine. So 0.26.1 is not coming. Let me see. So let me remove the node modules, right? So node modules is removed, and then npm install, and then npm ls axios. So you see that 26. So you see the behavior, what is happening, that see, if you installed a particular version, if you run command something like this, then first time it does not go ahead and does all this. First time it gives a preference to whatever thing you have given, and it installs it, and marks it as a tilde, but installs actually 0.26.0 only. However, actually later if you install npm, do an npm install or something, then you see that that behavior which is of tilde will be applied, which means that leftmost non-zero will be fixed, and rest it can upgrade, right? And that's why it is upgrading 0.26 to 0.26.1, right? The main point to understand here, that is fine, the behavior is fine. The main point to understand here is that this thing and this thing, you see that both are working actually the same. Why? Because here it is increasing patch, and that's why it is giving you 26.1. when it is this, then also it is able to just increase the patch, because the leftmost non-zero is minor, and minor has to be then fixed, right? Because there is no major. Just to note that this is not going to 0.27 even if this is tilde, because there is no major. Even if the 0.27 exists, you can see that 0.27 exists, but still it is not going to there, because it cannot go to there, right? So that is the meaning of tilde and caret, and how the fixing is there. I think there are a lot more things in semantic versioning, but we are not here to learn versioning, right? We are just here to learn that how versioning helps us in our package management in npm, right? So this much, whatever we just discussed right now, that much should be sufficient for our work, and we'll go ahead with that. Okay, so that will be all for now. See you in the next one.